Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, also still welcome. I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and are enjoying some leftovers maybe. I know I just finished some. I'll try not to fall asleep during this video. Today's video is going to be sort of a reaction video on a YouTube video that I came across this afternoon. And it is a video by a YouTuber by the name of LFA. LFA. That's Larry Frank Alfred. He does consults and coaching, it seems like. He's got 122 subscribers, 122K subscribers, excuse me. And he put out a video that has the title of, it's titled, "Stop Asking Women on Dates, Do This Instead." It caught my attention, I guess just the title. And I hit play, and I could only get through like 3 minutes of this video before I decided to exit out of it. I did watch about 15 minutes of another video that he posted, and I really disagree with his perspective, and that's obviously, it's okay for people to have different opinions and perspectives on things. That's what makes us all interesting. But I have very strong feelings when it comes to women and dating, especially as somebody who has really been a giver in a relationship, and sort of been, I've really sort of grown and have a very different perspective now than I used to have when it comes to dating, particularly women dating. And so I suppose I'm a bit sensitive when it comes to the idea that a person, an individual, would be promoting and sort of giving other male individuals the approval to be anything less than a gentleman. That just doesn't sit right with me. And so I thought that I would share a couple of minutes of his video and then give you my thoughts. And there will be people who disagree with me, and I'm sure I will probably offend some people. And I think I'm at a point as somebody who is a recovering empath. I no longer really fully care about what other people think of me. I'm a reformed people pleaser, a reformed empath. I'm still empathic, and I still believe that I'm a good person, but I'm really working on being, my real, true, authentic self. And sometimes being your true, authentic self means saying something that might offend someone else, right? So, here goes. Let's just play the video and start talking, yeah?
It's a popular subject, right? Guys are having problems asking women out on dates and getting rejected. Or maybe they go on a couple of dates and they get ghosted. They think things are going well. They've taken her on 3 dates, and all of a sudden she blocked him. Things like this. These are normal occurrences. In the modern scene. So when people reach out to me and they ask what they should do, how should they improve their dating life, I like to tell them that I think dating is a bad idea. I think dating is an outdated concept. The only people I know in my personal life that still date are married couples. I think if you haven't been with somebody for at least 5 years, there's no point in dating. Sure, if you're married and you got a couple of kids and life's getting a little boring, set up Friday night for date night or Wednesday night for date night. Do something like that. Have a couple of nights of the week when you go out, you dress up, you dress hot and sexy, you get a couple of drinks, you get a hotel, you have sex that you haven't been able to have since you had kids. That's a good time for a date night. But if you're a single guy, terrible idea. Only people that are still doing that are trad cons. Only people that still suggest that are trad cons. And they're out of touch. They're still living in 2005. They don't understand we live in a different world now. And a lot of guys, a lot of you guys watching probably don't understand this. But I'm not trying to speak of things the way I wish they were. I'm speaking of things the way they actually are. That's what we do here. And people don't date anymore. They hook up and they hang out. They don't date. Let me put it like this. You ever got a girl's number or, whatever, talking to a girl on a dating app or some shit like that, and she messages you at like 12 a.m. or calls you at 12 a.m. and she says she's drunk and she wants to come over, and you tell her, okay, you can come over, and as soon as she gets over to your place, you guys waste no time, you just get right into it. You don't even really know the girl. That's just kind of how it happens. Well, I can just about guarantee you that she went on a date that night. So if you're a guy that's taking women on dates, keep that in mind. Women have access to all different types of men. Men have access to all different types of women. I know a lot of guys don't have much access, but, we can work on that. Now, women understand, and it's very easy for them to detect if you're a boring guy, and I don't want to use the term beta and alpha, but you could use those terms in this situation. Some guys are exciting and they're fun, and women just really want to get with them. They don't care if the dude's like, hey, I'm going fishing. You want to come with me? Hey, I'm grabbing a drink. You want to come with me? Hey, come over to my place at 11 o'clock. They don't care what it is. If he's fun, he's exciting, and she likes him, she's going to do it. But guys that take women on dates, they're typically perceived as corny. A lot of women may say they disagree with this, but in my opinion, they're going to say that every time you're exposing a secret, and maybe it's something they don't like to admit, but it's true. We all have our needs. We all, women, they have their hormones, right? They need to hook up sometimes too. And if you're that exciting guy, you're the hot guy that they just want to get their hands on, they will. And if you're a guy that, you're taking it slow and you're asking them on dates, they're going to perceive you as corny. And it's not to say that.
Okay, so I can't even take much more of that. When I heard this video, or when I saw this video earlier today, I literally was like, ew, 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 ick, 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 ick. I was just I felt like I had been contaminated with something very bad. Oh my gosh. So this guy, he definitely is very immature, for sure. And he's like out there giving advice to these guys. I don't know what his age demographic is. Probably some age around his or younger. And when I heard this, I mean, he's basically saying that, like, or at least what I got from it is that he doesn't believe that men should be taking women on dates because they're probably going out on a date with someone else. Like, basically that you can get away with hooking up with a woman without having to take her out on a date. So why would you? Now, to be fair to, what's his name? LFA. To be fair to him, on some levels, he is right, because there are low value women who will accept that. They will look at the man as a prize instead of looking at herself as a prize, and she will accept minimal effort, low effort from men. Now, before I get too far off into talking about this topic, I have to give credit where credit is due. And I started watching a YouTuber, Shira7, probably about 7 or 8 years ago by now. And she really changed my life in terms of my values, my standards, and my expectations from men. And so a lot of what I talk about is, and a lot of what I will talk about in this video is education that I learned from her, because I did not have a strong parental example in terms of a mother that had this intelligence and to give to me, or even cared enough to instill these types of values and standards in me. And so, it's just, I think that, I was saying, I started out talking about LFA and how, to be fair to him, he is right in some regards that, men don't always have to take women out on dates, because there are women out there who will accept the bare minimum. That's the point here. And it's just really kind of infuriating to me, because I really feel, I feel two types of ways. On one hand, I feel angry and upset at women, the women who allow that bare minimum to occur. And then I feel upset at people like LFA who are trying to perpetuate this awful way of thinking, to encourage men to continue to be lazy, to encourage men to show this lack of respect to women, to encourage men to be lazy, and to encourage men to try to have sexual relations with women and have and not have any accountability or show any responsibility in that relationship. That is just so backwards to me. And I think I wanted to talk about it because I do think it's so relevant, especially today. We are, I feel like since the days, like the hippie days, so maybe like, what is it, like the 70s, we became a little bit too free. We became a little bit too liberal, and it was all about free love, and birth control, I believe, came out sometime, I believe in the 70s, I want to say. I don't know that for sure, but I think it did. Right, feel free to correct me in the comments below if you know something different. And I think we just got kind of like too loose with our sexuality, and the pill, I think, really changed a lot for people in terms of sex. And I know this is not like some new revelation. I'm not bringing up some new point that's never been talked about. But I'm sure you've heard it in other conversations where the pill really changed a lot in terms of sex for couples, and because it basically took away like the consequences of having casual sex, or any sex for that matter, but it made people more open to the idea of having casual sex and having sex just for the sake of pleasure, as opposed to like, before the pill came along, you had to be really careful. Sure there were condoms. I don't know when those came out, but I think that before the pill there were condoms, and to help prevent unwanted pregnancies. But you really had to be careful, because even when you had condoms, because like those could break, and then you were in trouble, and it was really not so socially acceptable to have like pregnancies and stuff out of being married, out of wedlock. So it really changed things, and now we are living kind of in a day and age, unfortunately, where men think that it's perfectly acceptable to go around and date and have sex with women. And I did say women. I'm not saying a woman. I'm saying multiples, many women, and not have to be responsible for her. And I know that some people might say, oh, well, women have their own money these days and women can support themselves and we don't need men. I am not one of these feminist types of women. And so you will never hear me. It's not that you won't hear me agree or support women who want to work, or women who need to work, or whatever. But I'm not. I support women in doing what they would like to do. If they want to work, then they should work. But I really do believe that men who want to sleep with women and who want to date women, they really shouldn't be doing that unless they are prepared to take on responsibility should it occur. And let's be honest, money makes the world go round. Everything costs a lot. And it takes quite a while these days to get to where you need to be financially, and where you actually have the means and the resources to offer a woman stability and financial security. And so, I really just don't think that, I think that men who are at that place financially, they understand that a woman has certain things that she needs to be provided. And, these are the men that, like, if God forbid a woman get pregnant unplanned, that man is actually financially in a place where he can take care of her, that he can provide for the baby. He can marry her. Hopefully they would be married first, but, things can happen, right? And whereas a man who's not financially prepared and who has decided to have sex with a woman, if he gets her pregnant, he's not prepared. Because, I think men who don't want to take women on proper dates are usually the men who are not financially prepared. And to me, there's a reason why courting, like the courting process was ever a thing. It's an opportunity for a man to show that he can take care of her. It's an opportunity to impress the woman that he's, of his interest. It's an opportunity for him to invest in her. Every day is an investment, and that's just the bare minimum investment. If he really wants to be with her and cares for her, he would be providing for her. Bills, rent, all, those kinds of things. Whatever comes up, he would be providing for her. And it starts with the date. Again, I really feel that is just the bare minimum. And, some people might come back and say, well, why he doesn't, when you're dating, you're just getting to know one another. Okay, fine. But men have no problem, especially men like, probably the guys that are following this guy, have no problem with expecting and wanting sex immediately. So they want to have the goods, but they don't want to have any responsibility attached to receiving those goods. And that's my biggest problem. I just don't think that is like a good way to teach our men. Like, I can't even call them men. I want to, but I can't, because that's not being a man. Being a man is, being able to provide and protect the woman that you are with, and I really think that I really see requiring a man to provide as a positive thing, both for the woman and for the man. For the woman, it's not a guarantee, but it does work towards ensuring that man is invested in that woman. And if he's invested in her, if he's invested the time, if he's invested the money, if he's invested the emotions, it's more unlikely that he's just going to walk away from her. It's also more unlikely, it's more unlikely that he will have several other women in where he's, that he is pursuing at the same time. He could be pursuing many other women, but if she's requiring, if she is requiring the most of him and the other women are requiring nothing of him, after a year, after 2 years, who do you think that man is going to go with? Is he going to go with the women who required nothing of him? Or is he going to go with the woman whose standards were way up here, who challenged him, who required him to provide for her and invest in her in multiple different ways? Or do you think he's going to go for the low quality, low standard woman who asks for nothing from him? Who do you think that this guy is going to go with? Men, they don't always, I think, recognize this, but men want to feel needed and useful and challenged and respected. If they're with a woman who requires nothing of them, they don't really get the opportunity to feel challenged. They don't get the opportunity to feel that sense of satisfaction of having earned something, of having had to work for someone. And so they therefore also don't feel useful, because their woman isn't really the woman who has low standards and all of that and is requiring nothing of him. She's not stimulating those things within him. And for a man, those things are quite important. And men want to feel, at the end of the day, men want to feel respected. They want to feel useful. They want to feel challenged. And they also want to feel like the woman that they are with is a woman that was not served to them on a silver platter. They want to know that they had to actually work hard. Like someone worth having is somebody that was like hard to get to, like it's like that satisfaction that you get when you are trying to do something really difficult and you work really hard to get there and you have that like sense of satisfaction. Well, men really, really have that. I think I would argue probably more from a biological standpoint than women do, because women, we are naturally more nurturing and nurturing and being loving, and that's sort of more where we are like in our element, caring for children, stuff like that. Whereas men are most happy when they are being challenged. They have to work hard to get something, and they feel respected and useful and stressed. Stress is a big, actually important thing for men. It allows men to actually bond to women, is when they are in a state of stress. Look it up. It's a real thing. And so when you don't stress your guy, then they don't really have that. They don't have that same opportunity to really bond to you the way that they should. So that is why I felt really kind of annoyed by this video, by this guy, LFA. But, in watching him and watching a little bit of his other videos and just some of the comments that he came out with, it's clear to me that he has pretty heavy narcissistic traits. I don't know if he has NPD. No idea, but I wouldn't be able to tell. I'm not qualified, first of all. I don't have a degree, to make such a diagnosis. Although I have made a pretty educated guess about some person that I've known in my life very closely. But back to topic of this guy, LFA. I mean, a therapist would have to, a psychiatrist would have to evaluate this guy for NPD, but for several months. It's not a quick. There's a lot involved. There's brain scans involved, and lots of therapy and they have all sorts of ways that they cumulative ways of how they diagnose NPD. But I think for sure he does have like heavy, definitely some narcissism there. Granted, as a reminder, everybody has some narcissism in themselves, but there's a thing called healthy narcissism, as I've talked about in one of my other videos. But I would say, I guess my point is, like, I would say this just from like observing this guy for a few minutes. I think he definitely is crossed over to the non-healthy narcissistic traits, and I can only imagine that dating must be challenging for him. But anyhow, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I am curious to know what people think about what I have to say. Um, and again, I cannot take credit uh, for these thoughts necessarily, because I do a lot of what I've learned is from Shira, and I do have great respect for her. She's a very intelligent woman, and I am very grateful to her channel. She's taught me a lot. And yeah, but I just basically saw this video that I was just chatting about, and wanted to share the I don't know, my thoughts on it, and am curious to know what other people think. If you don't agree with me, it certainly won't change my mind, but I think it's something I feel very, very strongly about. I never deal with guys like this gentleman. I can't even call him a gentleman. I'd like to, but I really can't, because he's clearly not. But I never deal with anybody like that, ever, ever. And it's funny actually, because I stopped dating people like that a long time ago. But seeing, like, I don't even even have friends that are like male friends, like strictly just friends. I don't have any male friends that behave that way. I just don't associate with anybody that would be like that, and let alone dating. So it's kind of I almost, when you don't really surround yourself with people like that, it's not that you forget that they exist, but kind of, because it's like I'm sort of in my own little, like, I don't know, I don't want to say bubble, but sort of. So yeah, I guess I was just sort of like almost alarmed to see not only that somebody like that exists, but also that he so strongly believes in what he's saying and how he thinks, that he's actually spreading this advice to other men. I just can't understand why he wouldn't be encouraging men to, man up, get their money up, figure out their lives, figure out their careers, so that they can be a provider for a woman, and take care of her and take care of a family and go on dates and have sex, and get married and do those things, or be in a committed relationship, if that's what that person wants, or at least be able to date responsibly. Like, know that, hey, if I'm sleeping with a woman and I happen to get her pregnant, even if I'm not in a relationship with her, but if I get her pregnant, I know that at least I can handle my business. I can provide, I can, if she needs money to, I don't know, if she needs money for her medical bills for if and when she has that baby, they're okay, like, I don't know. It just is crazy to me that this guy is like basically encouraging men to go out there and date when they like, regardless of if they can afford it or not. Which obviously, the thing is like, if you can actually afford to date, you're not mad at the girl that you went out on 3 dates with who decided you were not a match for her. Like, isn't rejection part of dating? Rejection is just a natural part of dating. So, okay, like, a man who has his money up is not going to care that he took a woman out for 3 dates, and paid for 3 dinner dates. Like, a man that has his financial act together is not going to be bent out of shape about that. He's just going to accept it for what it is and move on. So that leads me to believe that these other guys that are, worried about the investment of the bare minimum 3 dinner dates, like not panning out to be a long-term thing because the woman just decided that they weren't a good match. The guy who's getting bent out of shape about that obviously is not in the place financially where he should be. If he's like getting so bent out of shape about investing in 3 dinner dates. So anyhow, what else do I have to say? Yeah, I think that's basically it. But this guy just came off as just being very immature to me, and I don't know how old he is, but I would suspect maybe 25 or something like this. But my advice to women is, please raise your standards. Don't allow yourself to give of yourself, whether it's your time, energy, money, your body, your most important, valuable part of yourself, your physical body, to a man that doesn't even have the decency to take you out on a proper date with proper table linens, with silverware, with service. Don't sell yourself so short. Know your worth and have high standards, have requirements. A lot of women don't have this stuff these days. It's really a lost thing. And the thing is like, the thing is like a woman thinks, a low value woman will think, oh, well, the other woman had standards and I didn't, but I'm the one that got the guy. I got him. Lucky me. I got what I wanted because I was easy. Okay, you have him now. But the problem with that thinking is that you are viewing the man as the prize. The man is not the prize. The woman is the prize. The woman is the prize, not the man. And the thing is a woman will think that she wins because she gets what in her mind is the prize, the guy. But what a lot of women don't realize, and again, this is also something that I learned from Shira, if and when that man gets his money up, his taste in women will change. So, he basically settles for the woman who takes him as he is. And if and when he gets his money up, he will go and find the woman that he actually wants. So don't be that woman. Make sure that the man already is where you need him to be financially. Because if he's pursuing you when he has his money right, you know that you're actually the woman that he is actually attracted to and wants to be with. He's not with you because he needs something from you. He's not with you because he needs your financial stability. He's with you because he actually wants to be with you. So it's just something to think about. I highly recommend that all women go and watch Shira 7. She's a very, very smart woman. She has a lot of really good wisdom to share. And thanks to her, she really has gotten me to a place where I needed to be in terms of my mental level up. my mental and emotional level up. And I think I think that she's like a force to be reckoned with on YouTube. She's been doing this for like 10 years, and she's great. So, even if anything that I said to you makes even a tiny bit of sense, but you're still not completely convinced, go watch some of her videos. I promise you she will change your mind about how you date, and what your values are when it comes to dating. I'm not as well, I may not be explaining it as well as she does, but I did my best. I think what she's doing for women is really, really important. And I think it's about time that women start recognizing their worth and start raising your standards. A lot of women have low standards, and they think that they are winning because they get the guy, but the reality is, not only are they screwing themselves over, but they're also screwing over every other woman as they do that, including their future daughters, their siblings, daughters and stuff. Because men go around and have sex without commitment with multiple women because women allow them to. Low value women allow this. If every woman on this planet required heavy investments, most men would not be able to date multiple women. They wouldn't, because they couldn't afford it. So when we complain about men dating multiple women and having sex with multiple women and cheating and this and that, because I'm not one of those women, but the low value women are partly to blame for this problem. So stop being part of the problem and start being part of the solution for yourself as a woman and for every other woman out there. Raise your standards, ladies, and understand and know your worth.